Let us discuss 01st September 2015 newspaper over here. The first one is related to the death sentence or death penalty. Let us see the arguments against the death penalty. So here I just want to confess something. I am against to the death penalty. So most of my points which I have collected goes against the death penalty. So let us see what the points I have for this. The first thing is the death penalty is unjust and inhuman. Now, every society is built on humanitarian values. If you take humanism as a philosophy, human life is central to everything. So, in this context, a society that believes in human values shall respect the human life. Next is miscarriage of the justice. Now, if you see the Supreme Court lawyers on the report which they have submitted, 14 eminent retired judges, they said that between 1996 and today, most 15 people are being convicted for life imprisonment and the death penalty. Among them, 2 are hanged to death. So these 15 people are erroneously given the death penalty. So it means that this is the gravest injustice which can be done to a person, to take away life from his own self. And after that, if you see America's Innocence Project, what it does is this. It tries to collect the DNA reports or DNA evidences of the people who are convicted before the DNA fingerprinting has come as a technology, and tries to find out how many of them are wrongly convicted and tries to reform the criminal justice system. Now in this context, what the Innocent Project found is more than 300 plus convicts in the United States of America convicted for death penalty or wrongly convicted. And the third thing is the poor and minorities. In India, 75% of the cases with death penalty involves poor people and the minorities. And also there is a lot of arbitrariness. It means there are no standard protocols or there is no preformed approach that is existing in India. The interstate variations of death penalty is very high. In Delhi, there is 6 times higher chances than national average to get punished with death penalty, and in Kerala it is 2 times high. And so if you see, it is not in line with the global order. 140 countries, they have abandoned the death penalty. And the European Commission, one can be a member only if that country do not have the death penalty under its statutes. Now, the death penalty is based on a philosophy that the deterrence, ultimate deterrence, can only come with the severest punishment possible. But this deterrence is a myth. The severity of the punishment is not the one which decides the deterrence, but the certainty of the punishment that determines the deterrence. And further, if you see over here, the major objective is a reformation and retribution. We can see in a society which has to be based on peace, then the state shall not commit the violence in the form of a so-called death penalty. It is more kind of vengeance in the name of justice system. So the real focus, generally the lawmakers, they want to prove their strength by giving the highest sentence possible. Actually, it is deterring them to look into more systemic questions, such as the more systemic questions related to criminal reforms in the criminal justice system. So from this we can say the death penalty can be avoided. And one more practical thing in India is a person who was issued a death penalty, when he goes through the legal process for more than 20 plus years, he will be in jail, which is much more than a life imprisonment. It means the person is punished twice. That person is getting punished twice, once with life imprisonment, then followed by this death sentence. But however, on the contrary, the argument will be this. The rights of innocent victims, justice to these innocent victims who suffered in these particular convicts. And next is, in India, the death penalty is being offered rarest of the rare crimes. Now, the Law Commission also also recommended for the death penalty in the terror related cases, though in principle it has opposed the death penalty in the normal cases. So from this we can argue both the ways. And the next one is the China, Pakistan and India, how they'll coordinate, they shall cooperate with each other. The first thing is India has come up with spice route to connect itself with Africa, Asia and Europe. There is a project called as MOUSM which connects India with the India's traditional trade routes over the Indian Ocean. Now, this is not, India did not have the financial backup to take up these projects as of now. But however, India's MOUSM can be collaborated with BCIM of China. So this BCIM in principle, it helps India to connect with the ASEAN and also to strengthen its Act East policy. And at the same time, if you take CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, so this corridor, if extended to Afghanistan and then to Iran, it can form Iran-Pakistan-India pipeline, which can help for the India's energy security. Similarly, the BCIM corridor, it provides prosperity to the northeastern India and also to the Bangladesh. It increases the tourism, increases the trade, etc. Especially, the Indian subcontinent is rich in natural resources, but historically, our history made it poor. So in these circumstances, this connectivity offers a new solution to us, or new choice to us. If you see, the economic interdependence, it increases the trust, and the trust paves the way for the solution, which are been pending between the countries for long. In this context, China needs India more than any other country because of its economic slowdown. So the constructive engagement is the only way of forward with regard to our issues. Now, the India and China, they have agreed on certain things recently during Modi's visit. So BCIM will be BCIM will be considered along with the MOUSM, and India's strategic concerns can be addressed, and the relationship will be built on the mutual benefits. And also International Development Bank, both the countries are working together. AIIB, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, both the countries are working together. And the next one is the two sides made a program. The two sides welcomed the progress made in promoting cooperation under the framework of BCIM. So it means that some cooperation is already going on, so which is a positive step with regard to these things. Now with regard to this, one good statement which I like is this: we drink the same water and we breathe the same air. But however, India-Pakistan talks, they are both dominated by posture rather than dialogue. And second thing is, in Pakistan, the weak civilian government with compared to its military counterparts, which calls the shots regarding India, is a major concern. And third thing is, a stable, prosperous, wealthy Pakistan is in the good interests of India. So in this context, both the countries have to move away from posturing and shall involve with the real dialogue. The pity is that the composite dialogue process did not solve even one outstanding issue between these two countries. So opening the backdoor channels away from the glare of the media lens, so can provide for a real rational rethinking on the Pakistan and India issues. So in this context, any two sovereign nations, they have to deal on a win-win situation, not on a zero-sum game. In this context, any dialogue shall have some give and take. So in this context, the redesigning of India-Pakistan negotiations in a solution-centric manner is very much necessary. And next one is railways. So Bibek Debrai committee has given certain important recommendations regarding railways. One among them is reforming the accounting process to take it to the next level. And the second thing is the zero collision mission or zero accident mission is another thing. So the zero accident mission, it tries to, through boosting through the investments. There is a huge investment deficit that can be filled, and more bridges, better coaches, and fire resistant coaches, all this can provide for zero accident mission. And the railways are the most underinvested sector in India. So the Mr. Suresh Prabhu envisions a 8.5 lakh crore of investment in the coming 5 years in railways. The economic survey also centered around the improving the railway infrastructure to promote or to make a growth engine for India. So it means railway centered growth, and railways are also means for the growth. So that's what is recommended by economic survey. And next one is Australia and India relationships. So with regard to this, on the economic front, almost $10 billion Australian dollars came from Australia as investments to India. India has spent around $16 billion as investment in Australia. And second thing is, the trade between these countries will improve further once comprehensive economic cooperation agreement is done away with. And India's military modernization provides a common ground for both the countries to cooperate with each other. Already countries are taking up AUS Index, the naval exercises. And with regard to South China Sea, maintaining the freedom of navigation and overflight is in the interests of both the countries. And also in the coming years, as per various reports, the Pacific region, Asia-Pacific region, is going to be a dominant economic engine of the globe. So under these circumstances, all these things provide for a greater bond between Australia and India. They can be seen as a natural partners. So there is one more, the major irritant now is uranium, where Australia asks for Australia-specific uranium export accounting. But India says that it provides a common account under IAEA supervision, not country-specific accounting, which has to be resolved. So these are the issues related to the 1st September 2015. Thank you very much.